Hello everyone, this is Andrew at Crown Academy of English. Today we are doing a lesson about the verb remember. Remember with the infinitive and remember with a gerund. So let's start. Mark remembers to lock the car. Mark remembers locking the car. So the difference between these sentences is in red. So in the first sentence we are saying remembers to lock, and here we are saying remembers locking. So to lock, this is the infinitive of the verb lock, and locking, this is the ing form. Okay, so the verb ends in the letters ing, and in this context this is called a gerund. Now, both of these sentences are grammatically correct. So this is correct, and this is correct. So both of these sentences are correct. They exist. But the meaning is very different. Okay? So the meaning of this sentence is very different to the meaning of this sentence. And in this lesson, you will learn the difference. And there are some exercises at the end of the lesson. So let's continue. Let's look at the infinitive. Remember, followed by a verb in the infinitive. So here is our sentence again. Mark remembers to lock the car. Here is the infinitive. The infinitive is the word to, followed by the base form of the verb, to lock. So what does this mean? Well, first of all, notice that there are two actions in this sentence. And I'm going to show you the order of the two actions. So the order in time of the two actions. So action 1, first of all, Mark remembers. So here, Mark is thinking. Okay, there is a thought. And then after action 2, then Mark locks the car. So he remembers first, he thinks first, and then he locks the car. So the conclusion is remember plus an infinitive. The meaning is do not forget to do an action that happened after the thought. So the important rule to remember is Mark remembers first, so the thought is first, and then the action is second. So first we remember, and then we do the action. Okay? That is very important. Let's look at some examples. Remember to brush your teeth after breakfast. So this means do not forget to brush your teeth after breakfast. We are giving somebody a reminder. So the order of the actions is, first of all, we are telling somebody to remember, which means, to think, do not forget. And then brush your teeth. So the action of brushing the teeth is after the thought. Another example. Mark remembered to call his mother. So this means that Mark did not forget to call his mother. So the first action is that Mark thought and he remembered. And then after the thought, Mark called his mother. Now, let's look at remember followed by a gerund, which is the ing form. So this is going to be a very different meaning. So here is the sentence. Mark remembers locking the car. So this is the gerund, and it is the verb with ing at the end. Locking. So what does this mean? Well, the difference is that the order of the two actions is the opposite. So this time, action 1 is the main action. So the first action is Mark locks the car. And then Mark remembers. So this time, remember, it means to recall something. So we are thinking about something which happened in the past. So the rule is, remember followed by a gerund means to recall an action that happened before the thought. So first we do the action, and then we remember the action. We recall it. So we think backwards. We think back to an action. Okay, so let's look at some examples. So an example of remember with an ing form. My teeth are clean. I remember brushing them after breakfast. So action 1, Mark brushed his teeth after breakfast. Okay, so here he is. Action 1, Mark brushed his teeth. And then action 2, and now he remembers. So now he remembers. So first he brushed his teeth, and afterwards he remembers it. He remembers brushing his teeth. Let's look at another example. I remember calling my mother from the office. So action 1, David called his mother. Here he is. He's in the office, and David called his mother. And action 2, later, now he remembers. So here he is. He's thinking, and he remembers calling his mother from the office. So he can say, I remember calling my mother from the office. First, he called, and later, he remembers. Okay? So, let's look at an exercise. So, I would like you to complete the sentences with the correct form of the verb, infinitive or gerund. And you should be able to decide the correct form from the context of the sentence. So carefully read the context of the sentence and choose the correct form. Example. Before you leave the house, please remember the cat. So I want you to put the verb feed in the correct form, either the infinitive or the gerund. So I'll give you a few seconds. Well, the answer is, before you leave the house, please remember to feed the cat. It is the infinitive. Question 1, and I will give you a few seconds. Well, the answer is, David said he was at the party, but I don't remember seeing him. So this is the gerund, the ing form. Question 2. And the answer is, it was an excellent football match. I am sure that David Beckham will always remember scoring his goal. So it is the gerund. The first action is that David Beckham scored the goal, and now he remembers scoring the goal. So he remembers after the goal. So we use the ing form. Question 3. And the answer is, Mark, please remember to close the window before you go to bed. Okay, so this time we are asking Mark not to forget to close the window. So he must think before the action. He must remember, and then he must close the window. So we use the infinitive. Question 4. The answer is, it was John's birthday yesterday. Did you remember to call him? Question 5. And the answer is, I think that my car has been stolen. I remember parking it here. So in this question, we parked the car first. The first action is we parked the car. And after, we remember it. We remember it afterwards. So remember is second. So we use the ing form. We use the gerund. Okay? So that is the end of the lesson. If you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here on the screen. Here is my Twitter account. And here are some other videos which you might be interested in. This one is particularly important because in this lesson I explain the writing and spelling rules for ing verbs. Okay, there are some important rules and exceptions of how to spell the ing form of verbs. So that is a very useful video. Okay, thanks very much for watching. My name is Andrew at Crown Academy of English. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.